Welcome back. Well, I've been doing these videos for a long time, and I've been making videos for a while. Nothing feels better than to come on after a really, really long day, one of the longest days that we've had all year, and tell you guys that today I'm celebrating 15 years clean. It has been since August 10th of 2011 was the last time that I was involved in drugs. And for me, it's been it's been quite the journey, and I know that we all are on our own journeys, and we all spent a lot of time thinking about coulda, woulda, shoulda. But one of the things that I wanted to talk about today wasn't so much about me and my success in recovery, but the fact that this will be our recovery truths number 7. We're going to do a short little video because I feel like getting this out. But today we're going to talk about no one is coming to save you. What we're going to talk about today might sound a little harsh at first, okay, but I've been sitting on this message for a little while, and it is a recovery truth, and it's something that I had to realize pretty quickly, but it took me a while to realize this. Okay, I'm not saying that nobody cares about you, okay, and I'm definitely not saying you should try to recover alone. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that nobody can want your recovery more than you do. Okay, people can love you, people can encourage you, people can trust you, people can motivate you, and they can drive you to treatment. They can sit beside you in a meeting, they can hold your hand, they can answer the phone at 2 in the morning, who's your 2 a.m. person. They can give you advice, they can forgive you, they can even give you another chance. There's one thing they can't do. They can't recover for you, right? At some point, you're going to have to make the decision. And then tomorrow, you're going to have to make it again. And it's an ongoing process. I spent a lot of time waiting, and that's a big trap that we fall into during addiction, is believing that something outside of us is eventually going to fix everything. Maybe the right relationship will come along, maybe that somebody will give us money, maybe we'll find the perfect treatment program, maybe our family will finally understand, right? Maybe we'll move somewhere new, a geographical change, right? I've done that. Maybe we'll get a better job, maybe tomorrow we'll finally feel motivated to do it, but it never comes, right? You eventually have to realize that your life changes when your actions change, when our actions change. You can change your address geographically, right, and still bring the same habits with you. Nothing's going to change. You can change your relationships and still repeat the same patterns because you're bringing them with you. You can go through treatment and ignore every single thing they teach you. And you can sit through hundreds of meetings without changing anything outside of those meetings. Recovery requires participation. And that's the part that nobody can do for you. So help is different literally from rescue, right? I want to make that important distinction there, and in my notes I have that highlighted. Asking for help is not a weakness. It's not a weakness. In fact, asking for help might be one of the strongest things that you could ever do for yourself. There are counselors, treatment programs, recovery groups, sponsors, doctors, family members, friends, faith communities, peer recovery specialists, a lot of them out there. There are people who will walk beside you. Use those resources. Lean into those resources. Please use them. But understand the difference between someone helping you and someone saving you. Someone can show you the door. You still got to walk through it, my friends, right? You still got to make the call because somebody's going to give you their number, but you got to make the call. Someone's going to take you to a meeting, but you've got to listen. And someone can help build a recovery plan just for you, but you have to follow it when nobody else is watching. And that's where recovery becomes yours, right? So stop waiting until you feel ready. That's harsh, I know. That's a big one. You may never feel completely ready. You probably won't. There's something that people need to hear. We tell ourselves, I'll quit Monday, after this weekend, after the bag is gone, after this bottle, after the holidays, when things calm down, when it feels right. There will always be another excuse, right? Sure, there always is an excuse. And sometimes action has to come before the motivation to act. I promise you, you'll get that once you get into recovery. You don't have to wake up feeling like Superman, right? You just have to make the next right decision, do the next right thing, right? Make a life that's worth not escaping from, right? Amen. Maybe today's decision is getting rid of alcohol. Okay, maybe it's deleting a phone number of somebody that you know you can't trust. Maybe it's telling somebody the truth. Maybe it's calling a treatment center or a detox. Maybe it's getting a rule 27. One of those I forget which one it is. Maybe it's getting the prerequisites done so you can get into treatment, right? Maybe it's going back to a meeting. Maybe it's admitting that what you're doing isn't working anymore. There's a lot of admissions in there. And you don't need to solve your entire life today. You just need to take the next right step and let people help you with that, right? Then take another one tomorrow and let other people, your support system, help you with those steps too. Because recovery ultimately means taking responsibility. I had to take responsibility 15 years ago for my life if I wanted to keep living for my kids. I am clean today because of my kids and because of the work that I put in. But my goal in getting clean was for them, right? At the time. Now it's for me, it's for them, it's for everybody around me, it's for everybody. Responsibility is a hard lesson to live. There's a difference between blaming ourselves, right, and taking responsibility for ourselves. You can acknowledge the things that have happened to you, and I would encourage you to do that. Please, you can acknowledge the trauma, the drama, the bad relationships, the mistakes that other people perhaps have made in your life. Those things are real, okay? But eventually the question becomes, what am I going to do now, right, about it? What action am I going to do now? Because you can't change yesterday. You can't control other people. You can start making different decisions today, which are going to help you, but that's where your power is making the different decisions today for yourself. Because recovery taught me that responsibility isn't necessarily punishment. We've talked about that in other recovery truths and other weekly recovery videos, because responsibility is freedom. Because once I accepted my choices and that they mattered, I also realized that I had the ability to change where my life was going, and where I go now today is up to me. Nobody's going to protect your recovery the way that you can, because eventually you're going to encounter people, places, and things who don't understand your recovery. Someone might offer you a drink. Someone might tell you, one won't hurt. An old friend might call. Someone might invite you somewhere you know you shouldn't be. That's when you have to remember, they don't have to live with the consequences. You do. I do. We do. You have got to protect your recovery. That might mean leaving somebody or somewhere early than you anticipated. It might mean blocking somebody. It might mean changing the time that you spend with people, places, and things. It might mean saying, no, I don't do that anymore. You don't owe anybody a 20-minute explanation of why you don't do that anymore, because your recovery is valuable enough to protect, and the fact that you don't have to negotiate with people, places, and things. You just have to simply say, no, I don't do that anymore. And then make a scenery change, my friends. Start becoming someone that you yourself can depend on. Amen. There's always another side to this that doesn't get talked about. The side of this that doesn't get talked about enough is that addiction can destroy our trust in ourselves. We make promises and then we break them, especially to ourselves. Tomorrow I'm quitting, then tomorrow comes, I'm only having one, and then one becomes 10. I'm never doing that again, and then we do it again. It's madness. It's insanity, right? Eventually you stop believing yourself. Recovery rebuilds that relationship with yourself. Every day sober is evidence that you can do this. Every promise you keep is evidence that you can do that. Every time you walk away from a trigger, every time you tell the truth, every time you show up, every time you choose recovery when nobody else would otherwise, you're proving something to yourself, that I can depend on me again. That's huge. So don't try to fix everything at once. If you're listening to this and your life feels completely overwhelming right now, don't look at the entire mountain that you're about to climb, okay? Look at the next step in front of you and ask yourself, why am I going to keep doing this? You have a support system out there that wants to see you succeed. And what can I do today that's going to make tomorrow, my life tomorrow, a little better? So make that phone call, take a shower, eat something, drink some water, clean your room, go outside, call someone supportive, go to a meeting, make the appointment. Write down what needs to change, journal, right? Remove one trigger from your environment, and tomorrow, do the next thing, right? On your list. So this is my challenge for you guys today. And I do these things myself, okay? I want you to identify one thing that you've been waiting for somebody else to fix in your life. Don't beat yourself up over it. Don't have to do that. Just be honest. Write it down, journal, and then right underneath it, what can I do about this today? Not next month, not in a week, not when somebody else changes, not when everything becomes easier to do, but today. Maybe it's a phone call, maybe it's a boundary, maybe it's asking for help, maybe it's going to a meeting, schedule an appointment, apologizing to somebody, making amends, removing somebody from your contacts, right? Like I say, deleting those numbers. Start looking for work, clean up your environment, or maybe it's just a simple admission that I need help and today I'm going to ask for it. That's our challenge, right? do something new today that's going to help your recovery. Take one action out of all the actions that we do today. And if you're comfortable sharing it with me, I would love to know more about that, and put it in the comments, right? Because somebody reading these comments might be sitting there waiting for their own life to change, and your action, like these videos, might inspire theirs, right? So before you go, there's one thing I want you to remember from this video. It's this, that no one is coming to save you, okay? There is nobody coming to save you. That doesn't mean you're alone, okay? There are people willing to walk beside you. There are people willing to help you. And there are people who want to see you succeed. But eventually, you have to take that step. That's the hard truth about this video, is that you have to take the step. And if today is the day you finally decide when you're going to be done letting drugs and alcohol control your life, don't worry about the forever yet. Don't worry about next year, or 5 years sober, or 10 years sober, or even 15 years sober. You have to start with today. You have to take the next right step. Then tomorrow, you just have to do it over again. And that's one day at a time, the epitome of one day at a time. That's how our lives change. That's how trust comes back. That's how you start becoming the person that you were supposed to be. And I know that you guys know that, right? And that's what a second chance is all about. So if some of you guys are new here, this is what we do. You're a part now. You're now becoming a part of my community and a part of the Second Chance and Recovery community. We're going to keep having these honest conversations about addiction, sobriety, recovery, and what it actually takes to live a life outside of addiction, life after addiction, right? I want you guys to protect your recovery. I want you guys to do the next right thing that'll equate to a successful recovery. And there are a lot of things out there, a lot of people, places, and things that aren't conducive to us walking in that light, walking that path, and living in sobriety and having recovery. So we have to be very mindful of who we surround ourselves with, the information that we're putting in, of course, what we're telling ourselves. Self-talk is critical. I learned that in therapy. And a lot of times, the centerpiece of our recovery is going to be how we treat ourselves. And if we're always down on ourselves, we project that inward, and that's what we're going to then therefore put outward. So if we're a ball of negativity, that's what we're going to be outwardly too. So we got to create positive environments, not only in our space around us, but in our mind too, because you know what? If you're telling yourself you can't do it, you're an idiot, you're stupid, why would you do this, why would you do that, then perhaps that's probably what you're going to end up thinking about yourself, and you're not going to be able to achieve as much as if you were telling yourself, you can do this, you got this, one step at a time. And then when you can't fill your own cup like that, you lean into your faith, you lean into your understanding, your wisdom, your knowledge, but more importantly, you lean into the support system that is around you. And I bet you $1 million, that there are people out there willing to stand beside you. There are a lot of peer recovery specialists out there, and all the aforementioned people that I mentioned in this video of people, places, and things that are going to be supportive. Meetings obviously are going to help us. Steps, a formula, making a phone call, asking for help, reading spiritual literature. But a lot of the stuff that I started off with learning about spirituality was, of course, reading my Bible. And I learned a lot about Hinduism, Buddhism, Taoism, and a lot of these religions have, truth in them. And so when you follow the truth will lead you along a path. And then finally, you're going to have a faith and build a faith in a power greater than you, God, right? The source of all of this. And that source ends up becoming undescribable, right? But it's there all the time. And when you're having a bad day or something like that, or you're going through something, you just simply have to close your eyes and pray and speak truth to yourself, speak truth outwardly and in verbally, and make sure that you're making decisions and having conversations with a power greater than you. And it doesn't have to be like this big guy, on a cloud in a sky and all that stuff that society likes to portray that as. It's much grander than that, my friends. And I think a lot of the things that we learn about in religion and in spirituality, they teach us that there is a connection there that we have to have, right? And without it, we're kind of running blind, right? And I know Jesus talked a lot about that connection, right? Having the connection to God, and allowing God to help us with the decisions that we have to make, because if we didn't do that, we would be wayward, right? We wouldn't have a purpose, right? We need to live purpose-filled lives. So I'm going to leave you with that, guys. I hope you guys got a lot out of this message. Put down below comments if you guys have any comments, cares, concerns, or even a congratulations to not only me having a sober streak, but a lot of other people. A lot of us have, 1 month, 2 month, 1 year, 2 year, 5 year, 10 year, 15 year, 20 year, 30 year. I know a lot of people out there celebrating sober streaks. And the beauty about sober streaks is that it doesn't just stop at 15 years. We can just keep on going, right? Every day is a new day to tack on the tally, right? And I just sent out a couple of coins to a couple people that I met through eBay that I knew were celebrating some time, and that they were nice enough to share with me, because with my eBay packages I also send out stickers, and the stickers are of Second Chance Recovery and of course Lefty's Vintage Shop. And so this guy messaged me back and was like, hey, you're in recovery? Like, I sold him a sweatshirt, and a Harley Davidson sweatshirt, and he's like, you're in recovery? I'm like, yeah, I got a few years. And he's like, man, I got 3 months. And I was like, what? That dude, Randall, if you're watching this, I hope you don't mind me sharing your name. I was like, dude, and your information that you got a sober streak going, but 3 months? That's amazing. You know what I did? I went online and I found a unique 3-month recovery coin, sobriety coin, and I had it shipped from the distributor to him, so it got to him quicker. And that's just the sort of thing that that he'll never forget, right? He's going to commemorate that time, and just to give him the hope to keep going. And that's my message for today, you guys. I don't want to keep it too long. I'm going to edit this up, get it out. God bless. Love ya. Lefty out.